This is the story of how Cardi B left a 7-year marriage plagued by infidelity, only to enter a relationship that critics say reflects the exact patterns she tried to escape. In 2025, the Grammy-winning rapper went public with NFL star Stefon Diggs, welcomed their son in November, and found herself defending a romance complicated by 6 baby mothers, overlapping pregnancies, paternity disputes, and felony assault charges. What was supposed to be a fresh start has become one of the most scrutinized celebrity relationships of the year. Before we get into this mess, hit that like button if you're here for the drama and subscribe because Cardi always gives us something to talk about. Trust me, you'll want notifications on for this. Let's break down exactly what happened, how we got here, and why the internet won't stop talking about it.
Understanding the criticism Cardi faces now requires going back to where this all started. Cardi B and Offset's relationship has been tabloid fodder since they met at an industry event in 2016, and what began as a whirlwind romance quickly turned into a cycle that would define nearly a decade of her life. September 20th, 2017, they secretly married at home with just Cardi's cousin present, no dress, no makeup, no ring involved. The public proposal came a month later at Power 99's Powerhouse concert in Philadelphia, complete with an 8-carat engagement ring, and by July 2018 they welcomed their daughter, Culture. To the outside world, it looked like a fairy tale, but the cracks showed early. December 2018, just months after giving birth, Cardi announced their first breakup following cheating rumors and told fans they had grown out of love and were no longer together. This came days after they performed together at Jingle Ball, making the split even more jarring for fans watching in real time. Yet, they reconciled in 2019 with Offset issuing public apologies and the couple packing on PDA at awards shows. The pattern was set, though.
September 15th, 2020, Cardi filed for divorce for the first time, only to dismiss the proceedings and take him back again, and the cycle continued without end. December 2023 brought another confirmation on Instagram Live that they had separated, with Cardi saying she'd been single for a minute and wanted to start 2024 fresh and open. New Year's Eve found them partying together, though, and Cardi admitted they were intimate but clarified they were not back together, telling fans bluntly that she had got dicked down yesterday. May 2024 saw them spotted courtside at a Knicks game and appearing at the Met Gala after-party together, and in a Rolling Stone interview, Cardi called Offset her best friend, explaining how difficult it was to stop talking to someone who had been such a central part of her life. July 31st, 2024, that's when Cardi filed for divorce for the second time, with sources close to the situation saying they'd grown apart and that's what drove her decision more than anything else. The very next day, she announced she was pregnant with their third child, and their daughter Blossom was born on September 7th, 2024.
Throughout their relationship, Offset had multiple children from previous relationships, including Jordan, Cody, and Kalea, so Cardi knew what it was like to be part of a blended family. What she couldn't seem to escape was the infidelity that followed them everywhere. Real quick, if your team Cardi deserves better, smash that like button. And if you think she's making the same mistakes, drop a comment, because I'm reading all of them. Offset publicly admitted to stepping out on the Baby, This Is Keke Palmer podcast on October 8, 2025, saying he should have respected her way more and made bad decisions as a man. He acknowledged that when she left, he had to take it on the chin because he was being selfish, which was the first time he'd been that honest publicly about his behavior.
According to Cardi on The Breakfast Club in September 2025, the divorce is not peaceful, and she couldn't talk about it in detail because of court proceedings, but she made it clear that Offset hadn't signed the divorce papers. November 2025 brought reports claiming Offset rejected a $10 million settlement offered by Cardi, allegedly saying he built her brand and deserved half. And with Offset's net worth at $40 million and Cardi's over $100 million, the financial stakes were high. August 2025 had Offset telling interviewers he was done with marriage after the split with Cardi, marking what seemed like a final end to their chapter together. This is the relationship Cardi was trying to leave behind. 7 years of on-again, off-again drama, multiple cheating allegations, public apologies, and private heartbreak, 3 children together, and a messy divorce that still wasn't finalized as of early 2026.
When she met Stefon Diggs, Cardi was 32 years old, a mother of 3, and finally ready to move on. She had filed for divorce a year before going public with Diggs and seemed determined to find happiness on her own terms, but the man she chose would bring his own complicated history. Stefon Diggs turned 32 in November 2025, and he's a wide receiver who was drafted in 2015 by the Minnesota Vikings, having since played for the Buffalo Bills, Houston Texans, and, as of 2025, the New England Patriots. March 2025 brought him a 3-year, $69 million deal with the Patriots, with $26 million guaranteed, which set him up financially for years to come. His 2025 season with the Patriots was impressive, despite recovering from a torn ACL he suffered in 2024 while with the Texans, posting 82 receptions, 970 yards, and 4 touchdowns. He achieved his 7th career 1,000-yard season, making him the first Patriots 1,000-yard receiver since Julian Edelman in 2019, and the team went 13-3, winning the AFC East title. Professionally, Diggs was thriving, but his personal life was far more complicated than anyone could have imagined. As of December 2025, Stefon Diggs is confirmed to be the father of 6 children, and this timeline is crucial to understanding the controversy that would follow. His oldest is Nova Diggs, born October 14, 2016, now 8 or 9 years old, and her mother is Tyler Marie, a singer and songwriter who was Diggs' ex-girlfriend. Nova is the most publicly visible of his children and appears regularly on his social media. 2023 brought a daughter named Shiloh with a woman named Kennedy Moore, adding to his growing family responsibilities. Then came 2025, a year that would see Diggs become a father 3 more times before welcoming his son with Cardi in November, creating a situation that would spark intense public scrutiny. April 2, 2025, a baby girl named Charlie Harper Diggs Lopera was born, and her mother is Aileen Lopera, a model and influencer also known as Lord Gazelle, who has over 500,000 Instagram followers and works as a Fashion Nova ambassador.
At some point in 2025, a son was born to a woman named Kayana Barber, also known as KB, with Diggs posting on December 25, 2025, referring to one of my boys' first Christmas. Also in 2025, a daughter was born to a woman named Kai Benji, who was present at Diggs' house on Christmas 2025. And November 4, 2025, Cardi B gave birth to their son, making Diggs a father of 6. Okay, pause. 6 kids, 6 different situations. If you're doing mental math right now, trying to figure out these timelines, you're not alone. Hit subscribe because this story gets messier. The math here is jarring because multiple women were pregnant with Diggs' children in 2025, with timelines that strongly suggest these pregnancies overlapped in ways that can't be ignored. While Cardi was pregnant and publicly celebrating her relationship with Diggs, other women were having his children too, creating the exact complicated blended family situation she'd left with Offset. This is the reality Cardi B walked into, willingly or not.
Dating rumors about Cardi and Stefon Diggs started circulating in October 2024, just months after Cardi filed for divorce from Offset, and at the time, Cardi went on Instagram Live to shut down speculation, saying the internet was insane and all the rumors were crazy. She wasn't ready to confirm anything publicly yet, even though things were clearly developing between them.
December 2024 saw Cardi and Offset having heated exchanges online about signing divorce papers, while Diggs was dealing with his own drama, as that was the month Aileen LaPera filed a paternity lawsuit while pregnant with his child, seeking to determine parental relationship, requesting sole custody, and asking Diggs to cover pregnancy expenses, birth expenses, and attorney fees. December 2024 was also when the alleged assault incident occurred that would later result in felony charges against Diggs. But we'll get to that shortly, because that situation deserves its own detailed explanation.
February 14, 2025. According to TMZ, Cardi and Diggs were photographed together at a Valentine's Day party in Miami, and the relationship was clearly developing, even if they weren't ready to confirm it publicly. April 11, 2025, Diggs revealed he wasn't single on Instagram Live, though he didn't name his partner. And 2 days later, on April 13th, Cardi was spotted giving Diggs a lap dance at Coachella. Offset seemed to respond to a fan comment, writing that he was happy for her, which was surprisingly mature given their history. April 27, 2025, Cardi defending her new relationship on X Spaces, saying that when you have a gorgeous man loving you from head to toe, you don't care what anybody says. May 5, 2025, both attended the Met Gala separately, but were spotted arriving at an after-party seconds apart, according to Just Jared, and they weren't trying very hard to hide things anymore.
The relationship went fully public on May 12, 2025, when they appeared courtside at Game 4 of the NBA playoffs between the Knicks and Celtics at Madison Square Garden, holding hands, packing on PDA, with Cardi seen on the Jumbotron lovingly squeezing Diggs' cheeks. There was no more hiding after that moment broadcast to millions of viewers. June 1, 2025, they made it Instagram official when Cardi posted a carousel of photos, including one from a yacht and a video of her dancing on his lap, her caption reading, "Chapter 5, hello, Chapter 6. Diggs posted a courtside photo with the caption, "To the month of May, I appreciate you nonetheless. Gotta stay focused." And the relationship seemed solid and getting serious quickly. June 2025 found them vacationing in France, with Diggs renting the entire Château de Farcheville castle for their stay, showing he was willing to make grand gestures and spend money to make her happy. July 2025 brought a cooling-off period when breakup rumors circulated after they deleted Instagram posts and the relationship appeared to cool publicly, leading fans to speculate things were over between them. August 2025 proved otherwise when Cardi posted a TikTok showing off a Patek Philippe watch from Diggs, saying, "My boo-boo got it for me at London Jewelers," confirming they were still together despite the social media silence. September 16, 2025, Cardi told the Today Show she would get married again and called herself a hopeless romantic, which seemed to suggest marriage might be in their future. The very next day, September 17, 2025, Cardi announced she was pregnant during an interview with Gayle King on CBS Mornings, saying, "I'm having a baby with my boyfriend Stefon Diggs. I'm excited. I'm happy." She explained that everybody kept telling her she should have fun, and they had a little bit of too much fun, and now she was pregnant, which was an honest admission about how quickly things had progressed. Cardi seemed genuinely happy during that CBS Mornings appearance, saying she thought Diggs was cute and was like, "Oh, he gotta be mine." She praised how supportive they were of each other and how he made her feel confident and safe, which was exactly what she said she needed after years with Offset. In a Billboard interview on September 3, 2025, Cardi admitted that dating in your 30s is tough and that she had always been scared of dating people because she'd been in a long relationship since she was 21. She said she liked him and loved him today, and that caveat of today would prove more significant than anyone realized at the time. While Cardi was celebrating her pregnancy in September 2025, news broke that would complicate her fairy tale in ways she probably didn't anticipate or want made public.
September 18, 2025, court documents obtained by People magazine revealed that Eileen LaPera had filed a paternity lawsuit against Diggs back in December 2024 while she was pregnant, seeking to determine the parental relationship of their unborn baby, requesting sole physical and legal custody, and asking Diggs to cover pregnancy expenses, birth expenses, and attorney fees. LaPera gave birth to Charlie Harper Diggs LaPera on April 2, 2025, while Cardi and Diggs were in the early stages of their public relationship, which meant this baby was already here while Cardi was falling in love. If you're thinking, wait, this gets worse? Yes, it does. Drop a like if you're invested in this mess now.
July 2025 saw Diggs responding to the lawsuit, stating he was not certain he was the father and requesting genetic testing, and if confirmed as the father, he requested joint legal and physical custody and asked for an equitable split of pregnancy and birth expenses. Cardi appeared to address the drama on social media in September 2025, referencing Shirley Brown's song Woman to Woman and saying, "That's your baby daddy, bitch. That's my baby daddy too. Well, what now? I don't know. We'll figure it out, bitch." The DNA results came back on November 6, 2025, just 1 week before Cardi and Diggs welcomed their own son, and the timing couldn't have been worse for Cardi. LaPera's attorney, Tamar Armanak, confirmed to the media that paternity had been established and Diggs was the father of Charlie Harper, saying they were hopeful Diggs would meaningfully contribute to the child's life and co-parent with LaPera, who had done everything on her own thus far. The statement emphasized that LaPera looked forward to the day Diggs would acknowledge and provide for his infant daughter in Los Angeles. Just days before becoming a father with Cardi, Diggs was confirmed to have fathered another child with a different woman, a child who was conceived and born while he was developing his relationship with Cardi. The overlapping timelines were undeniable, uncomfortable, and impossible to ignore, no matter how much Cardi might have wanted to. If the paternity lawsuit wasn't enough drama, December 2024 brought another crisis that would explode into public view a year later and create even more problems for the couple. December 2, 2024, an alleged incident occurred at Diggs's residence in Dedham, Massachusetts, involving a female private chef who had been hired in July 2024 for the entire NFL season and was staying in a room at his house. The chef, identified in some reports as Mila Adams, had been sent home for a week in November because Diggs was having house guests, and when she returned, she wanted to be paid for that week. A text exchange reportedly shows the chef wanted to be paid for the season, while Diggs allegedly responded, "I won't be paying you," with an expletive, escalating what should have been a simple employment dispute.
December 2, according to the police report, Diggs entered the chef's unlocked bedroom to discuss the money, which apparently angered him, and the chef alleges he smacked her across the face. When she tried to push him away, he allegedly tried to choke her using the crook of his elbow around her neck, and she said she had trouble breathing and felt like she could have blacked out. He allegedly threw her on the bed and said lies when she said she hadn't been paid, and the chef left the position and the residence after the incident. December 9, 2024, she returned to collect her belongings, and Diggs referred her to his assistant, who told her she needed to sign a non-disclosure agreement before receiving payment. She did not sign the NDA, which meant this situation was going to go public eventually.
December 16, 2024, the chef went to the Dedham Police Department, though she was initially reluctant to file charges, and no photographs were taken of alleged injuries, which would later complicate the case. December 22, 2024, she changed her mind and wanted to proceed with charges, setting in motion a legal case that would shadow Diggs throughout 2025. December 30, 2024, charges were officially filed. Felony strangulation or suffocation, and misdemeanor assault and battery, which are serious charges that could result in prison time if he's convicted. Diggs' attorney, David Meyer, issued a strong denial, saying Stefon Diggs categorically denies these allegations, calling them unsubstantiated, uncorroborated, and never investigated, because they did not occur. The statement emphasized that the timing and motivation for making the allegations were crystal clear, claiming they were the direct result of an employee-employer financial dispute that was not resolved to the employee's satisfaction. The attorney said Stephon looks forward to establishing the truth in a court of law, maintaining his innocence completely.
The New England Patriots released a statement saying they were aware of the accusations, that Stephon had informed the organization he categorically denies the allegations, and that they support Stephon. They said they would continue to gather information and cooperate fully with appropriate authorities and the NFL, taking a wait-and-see approach publicly. The NFL also released a brief statement saying they were aware of the matter and had been in contact with the club, which is standard procedure when a player faces criminal charges. The original arraignment date was set for January 23, 2026, just 2 days before the AFC Championship game, but it was later rescheduled to February 13, 2026, 5 days after the Super Bowl. According to the Boston Globe, Diggs' defense team is working on a monetary resolution, suggesting they're trying to settle this before trial. He continues to play for the Patriots pending the case resolution, and the team has stood by him throughout. Subscribe if you want updates on how this legal situation plays out, because something tells me we haven't heard the end of this story.
Cardi B inserted herself into the situation in a way that surprised many observers and raised questions about her judgment. She posted on X, then deleted, that she had been communicating with the alleged victim, claiming to have reposted a private text from the former chef and saying, "Not once has that woman said anything to me about being touched. Not once," emphasizing that they talked every single day until the chef left the house. In another deleted tweet, Cardi addressed the accuser with profanity and said she was going to let the courts handle this, and when it gets handled, she wants everyone talking negatively on their knees with apologies, which was a strong defense of her man, but also potentially problematic. Her involvement in defending Diggs against felony assault charges raised eyebrows, because here was a woman who had just left a toxic relationship, now publicly defending a man facing serious criminal allegations by attacking his accuser. The optics were terrible no matter how you looked at it.
December 25, 2025. Cardi and Diggs had welcomed their son just 7 weeks earlier, and many fans expected to see the new family together for their first Christmas as a unit. Instead, the couple spent Christmas separately, and the fallout was immediate and intense. Cardi posted photos with her 4 children, Culture, Wave, Blossom, and her newborn son with Diggs, while Diggs posted photos with his other children from his previous relationships. Social media exploded with speculation about a breakup and accusations that Diggs was an absent father to his newborn, and the optics were terrible for both of them. A man with 6 children by different women, spending Christmas with some kids but not others, including his youngest, who was only 7 weeks old, reinforced every negative perception about his character and commitment. To critics, it looked like he was picking and choosing which children to spend holidays with based on which baby mothers he was on good terms with.
On Instagram, Diggs reposted content about Cardi and the baby with the caption, "Miss y'all. Don't be squeezing him too tight, you're making him soft." It was meant to be playful, but to many it felt dismissive given his absence on their son's first Christmas. The backlash was intense and lasted for days, with fans dragging Cardi for her choice in men and saying she had left one problematic relationship only to enter another that looked remarkably similar. December 29, 2025, Cardi posted a video responding to the criticism, asking if people were okay because they'd been dragging her for 3 or 4 days and had been a little bit too mean. She said she couldn't change anything or go back in time because she'd already had a baby, asking bluntly, "Y'all want me to put my baby back in my pussy?" which was her way of saying the situation was what it was. She continued by saying we can only go forward now and that she wanted good things for everyone, including health, money, and prosperity, asking them to wish her the same instead of constantly criticizing her choices.
The video revealed a deeper stress that was building as Cardi talked about preparing for her Little Miss Drama tour starting in February 2026, her first headlining arena run. She said she has so much work to do once January starts that it's stressing her out, and she'll be away from her babies, away from her personal life, away from her home. She needs to rehearse 10 to 12 hours a day for tour, and said, "I need my support system, my fans, to love me," which was a vulnerable admission of how much the criticism was affecting her. In additional rants, Cardi defended herself by emphasizing her fame and success, saying people shouldn't talk unless they're as famous as she is or have her type of money, which didn't help her case with critics who saw it as deflecting from legitimate concerns.
Her friend Ken Barbie defended her on X, pointing out that Cardi has her own kids and Stephon does too, and if baby mothers are on some "my kids can't come unless I'm there" energy, then that's just what it is. Supportive fans noted that Offset moved on while actively in the relationship through constant cheating, while Cardi moved on afterwards, as she should, calling out the hypocrisy of bringing women down for Offset's infidelity. The criticism persisted, though, and the prevailing narrative was that Cardi had traded one complicated baby daddy situation for another that might be even worse. Let's talk about what critics are actually saying, because the backlash isn't just about Stefon Diggs as an individual, but about what he represents in the larger pattern of Cardi's relationship choices.
Cardi spent 7 years with Offset, dealing with infidelity, public humiliation, and a blended family dynamic that included multiple children from previous relationships. She filed for divorce twice, and the second time seemed final, especially after she confirmed on CBS Mornings in September 2025 that she filed for divorce a year ago, doesn't deal with Offset anymore, and has no contact with him. She said she was tired of people associating her with somebody from the past and wanted to move on, which seemed reasonable after everything she'd endured. To many observers, though, she moved from one complicated situation to another that looks strikingly similar in ways that are hard to ignore.
Offset had children from previous relationships, and so does Diggs, with Diggs actually having more baby mothers to navigate. Offset had accusations of infidelity throughout their relationship, and Diggs has confirmed he fathered multiple children in 2025 alone, with pregnancies overlapping during the time he was with Cardi. Offset's behavior caused public drama and humiliation for Cardi, and Diggs' paternity lawsuit became public just as Cardi announced her pregnancy, while his assault charges dropped while she was preparing to give birth. The difference in scale is notable, because Offset had 3 children from previous relationships when Cardi met him, while Diggs now has 6 children total, with at least 3 born in 2025 during his relationship with Cardi. Critics argue that Cardi didn't just repeat the pattern, she escalated it by entering a situation that's even more complicated than what she left. If you think Cardi's repeating history, hit that like button. If you think people need to mind their business, drop a comment defending her.
Speed is another factor that raises concerns, as Cardi confirmed she was dating Diggs publicly in May 2025 and announced her pregnancy in September 2025. That's roughly 4 months from going Instagram official to announcing a baby, and in a Billboard interview, Cardi herself said, "Everybody kept telling me I should have fun, and we had a little bit of too fun, and now I'm here," which suggests things moved faster than planned. Some fans accused her of having a revenge baby to get back at Offset, and Cardi addressed this directly on X Spaces by asking, "Revenge on what? Revenge on who? What is a revenge baby?" She emphasized, "I'm a grown woman. I make my own decisions. Me and my man love our baby. Ain't no revenge," which was her way of shutting down that particular narrative.
The timing raised questions, though, because she filed for divorce from Offset in July 2024, announced she was pregnant with their 3rd child in August 2024, gave birth to Blossom in September 2024, went public with Diggs in May 2025, and announced another pregnancy in September 2025.
That's 2 babies in just over a year with 2 different men while finalizing a divorce, which to critics suggested impulsive decision-making rather than the fresh start she claimed to want. Cardi's own involvement in the assault case added another layer of concern, as her decision to publicly defend Diggs by claiming she had been in contact with his accuser and that the woman never mentioned being touched struck many as troubling. Here was a woman who had experienced her own share of relationship dysfunction, now potentially discrediting another woman's allegations against her partner, which went against everything people thought Cardi stood for.
In song lyrics from Man of Your Word about Offset, Cardi had admitted, "7 years, I admit it, it wasn't all bad. Skeletons in my closet too. As a wife, I should have realized when you were hurt, but instead I put my music first." She was capable of reflection and acknowledging her own role in relationship problems, but with Diggs, she seemed defensive in a way that concerned people who care about her well-being. What makes the criticism particularly sharp is that Cardi herself has been vocal about wanting better, and on the Today Show in September 2025, she talked about how Diggs makes her feel safe and confident. She said, "When people just rip it apart, it just hurts you and it crushed you. He's like, 'Girl, you better get it together.' He makes me feel very confident," which sounds like healthy support on the surface. Whether that's healthy support or dismissing valid concerns is the question many people are asking, because sometimes the person who tells you to ignore criticism isn't protecting you, but isolating you from people who see red flags you're missing.
She also told reporters in September 2025, when asked about paternity questions, "You're disrespectful. Don't do that. Do you see women asking those types of questions to me? Why do you feel as a man you get to ask me those types of questions? Act like you have some manners. Your mama taught you respect women." It was a powerful moment of standing up for herself, yet the questions were legitimate given the ongoing paternity lawsuit at the time. The fundamental tension here is between Cardi's right to move on and find happiness versus the legitimate concern that she's chosen a partner whose life is extremely complicated in ways that mirror what she claimed to be escaping.
A larger conversation is happening here about what we expect from public figures, especially women, when they leave difficult relationships and try to start over. Cardi B has been extraordinarily open about her life in ways most celebrities avoid, confirming her divorces, discussing her heartbreak, sharing her pregnancies, and going Instagram official with a new partner. She's invited the public into her personal life in ways that most celebrities don't, which creates a parasocial relationship where fans feel invested in her happiness. That openness creates an expectation, though, because when they see her enter what appears to be another complicated situation, they react not out of judgment, but because they feel like they know her and want better for her.
A double standard exists here that can't be ignored. As Offset admitted on podcast, stepping out and being selfish, he's had multiple cheating allegations throughout their relationship. Yet the bulk of public criticism has landed on Cardi for her choices, rather than on Offset for his behavior that created this situation. Similarly, Stefon Diggs has 6 children with multiple women, with at least 3 born in the same year. Yet much of the scrutiny focuses on Cardi for dating him rather than on Diggs for the pattern of behavior that created this situation in the first place. Co-parenting multiple children with different partners is complex and worth acknowledging, as spending separate Christmases might be a practical decision based on custody arrangements and the preferences of other mothers. Diggs' friend Ken Barbie pointed this out, noting that if baby mothers have rules about kids not coming unless they're there, that's just reality, which is a fair point about the complications of blended families.
Context matters, though, because when you're a public figure who fathered 3 children in 1 year while in a high-profile relationship with a celebrity, and you spend Christmas away from your youngest child who is only 7 weeks old, people are going to draw conclusions about your priorities and character, whether those conclusions are fair or not.
The assault charges add another layer that complicates everything, as Diggs is legally presumed innocent until proven guilty, and his attorney has vigorously denied the allegations, characterizing them as stemming from an employment dispute. The charges are serious, though. Felony strangulation or suffocation, which, if true, would indicate a capacity for violence that should concern anyone in a relationship with him. Cardi's decision to defend him publicly and attack his accuser is her right, but it's also fair for observers to question that choice, given the seriousness of the allegations and what it might mean for her own safety.
The question of what Cardi knew and when she knew it remains unanswered, as the paternity lawsuit was filed in December 2024, and Cardi and Diggs were photographed together in February 2025. Did she know about the lawsuit when they started dating? Did she know about the other pregnancies happening simultaneously with hers? The assault allegations occurred in December 2024, though. Charges weren't filed until December 30, so did she know about that incident before going public with the relationship in May 2025? These aren't questions designed to shame Cardi, but questions about informed consent and decision-making, because everyone deserves to enter relationships with full knowledge of what they're getting into.
In her September interview with Billboard, Cardi said it's tough dating in your 30s and that she had always been scared of dating because she'd been in a long relationship since she was 21. That vulnerability is real and relatable, as dating after a major breakup, especially with children and in the public eye, is incredibly difficult and scary. Vulnerability doesn't mean accepting situations that might not be healthy or stable, though, and that's what people who care about Cardi are trying to communicate, even if it comes across as harsh criticism. As of January 17, 2026, here's where everything sits in this ongoing saga. Cardi and Stefon Diggs are still together based on all available information, as she defended the relationship publicly on December 29, 2025, and hasn't indicated any change in status since then. They share a son, born November 4, 2025, who is now just over 2 months old and represents a permanent connection between them regardless of what happens with their relationship.
Cardi is preparing for her Little Miss Drama Tour, which launches in February 2026, representing her first headlining arena run and supporting her album Am I the Drama, which was released in September 2025. It's her first album in over 7 years, since Invasion of Privacy in 2018, which won a Grammy for Best Rap Album, making this tour a massive professional moment for Cardi. The timing is challenging, though, because she'll be away from her 4 children, including an infant, rehearsing 10 to 12 hours a day, and she's expressed stress about this in her recent social media posts that reveal how much pressure she's under. Stefon Diggs is currently playing for the New England Patriots in the NFL playoffs, and his 2025 season was successful professionally, achieving his 7th career 1,000-yard season and helping the Patriots to a 13-3 record and AFC East title. He's focused on finishing the season strong and trying to win a championship. His assault case has an arraignment scheduled for February 13, 2026, 5 days.